Hi guys, welcome to this video. In this video, we analyze a CAT odd one out question. What is this question about? Five sentences given in a set. You need to identify the odd one out. How do you go about it? You can make pairs. That's thing number one that you can do. If you form a set of connected statements, obviously that pair cannot. The statements in that pair cannot be the odd one out. Second, you go by the topic. You identify the topic of the paragraph. Anything that moves outside of that topic, you then identify that as the correct answer, right? Or the third thing that you can do is you might have something which might contradict what is given in the paragraph, right? What is given in the other statements. That can also help you identify the answer. Any one of these tricks and you should be able to solve this question. Now pause this video for a second, try to use all of these tricks that have been mentioned and identify the correct answer for this particular question. If you look at what this question is about, right, this is about water on Mars, right? And what happened when a particular solar storm took place, and that water, what happened to that water? That was frozen or buried. That is the topic in this case. Now, how do we form pairs? A recent study reveals how Mars lost much of its early water, while another indicates that some liquid water remains. Data from NASA's MAVEN orbiter shows that solar storms stripped away most of Mars' once thick atmosphere. So statements number 5 and 4, generic opening sentences, the pair of sentences which introduces the topic to us in this case. What happened in the solar storm? Particles from the sun collided with molecules in the atmosphere, knocking them into space or giving them an electric charge that caused them to be swept away by the solar wind. Most of the planet's remaining water is now frozen or buried, but clues over the past decade suggested that some liquid water, a presumed necessity of life, might survive in underground aquifers. So 2 and 3 then further give you information what happened, right? So either that water was knocked away or it was frozen or buried, and there might be some water still in aquifers, right? So 5, 4, 2, 3 give you the set of information, connected set of statements, and they explain to you what has happened with the water. Statement number 1, why is it the odd one out? The water that made up ancient lakes and perhaps an ocean was lost. Now it's all of a sudden talking about water lost. Remember, we've already accounted for the water, right? Statement number 3 tells us that Statement number 2 first tells us that something was knocked in, molecules were knocked in the atmosphere, knocking them into space, electric charge that caused them to be swept away by solar wind. This is thing number 1 that happened with water. Thing number 2, it was frozen or buried. Thing number 3, it remained what? There is some liquid water, presumed necessity for life, might survive in underground aquifers. So we've already accounted for water in these 3 scenarios. So which was this water that was lost up in ancient lakes and oceans? Which ancient lakes and oceans have been mentioned in Mars? No lakes or oceans have been mentioned on Mars, right? None of the other sentences mention them. So this is not information which is connected to the statement. We've already accounted for the water on Mars. This statement does not fit, we really can't figure it out where to fit it, right? There is no mention of lakes, oceans on Mars, all extraneous information that does not fit our given topic, and hence this is the odd one out in this particular case. Hopefully so through this analysis video you've understood this particular question and the general approach that you should have for this particular question type. Thank you very much for watching this video and happy learning.